Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Before we get started, me and DC Sanctuary are going to be doing a collab soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll definitely keep you posted on when. We're still kind of working out some stuff, but we'll definitely keep you posted on when. And I'm really excited. Really excited about that. Also, I'm just really happy that he's back because I definitely love watching his reviews. So, definitely be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming soon. Like I said, we're still kind of working out some stuff, but should be a lot of fun. Now, going into this episode was better than Friday's episode. I feel like they're starting to get back on track a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. Ben and Ciara was the most boringest part of this episode. If you are a Ben and Ciara fan and you love all their cute, kissy, and lovey-dovey scenes, that's great. But that is, and that's great. But for me personally, they didn't really do anything. I feel like this is something I started to notice in the beginning when I first started watching them. I'm like, they're really great when they're getting into something, when they're solving a mystery or whatever, Like when I first started watching it, they were sitting there trying to find where Gwen was, this way they can try to get some people off of Jake's back. And it was really fun and exciting to sit there and see that. But it's like left it on devices, they don't really do too much of anything. And in this episode, it was just like... Plus, honestly, to tell you the truth, I felt like they threw in some scenes that we already seen. As far as like, Ben imagining what their future's gonna look like, what their kid is gonna look like. It was all stuff that we already seen. So you just threw in a bunch of stuff that people already seen, and you didn't really have them too much of anything except for lie in a bed and then dance. That was it. I know there's always gonna be some people, some characters in there that sole purpose is to run down the clock. I was so not a fan of any of their scenes because I felt like it was just completely and utterly boring. But again, if you love their romance stuff, then, so it's some great scenes there. EJ and Xander. I'm gonna be honest. Every time that you get EJ into the room and you put him with like somebody like Xander, so it's gonna be a great day. So he comes in, and I didn't know that he was a lawyer. So he comes in, he's like, "Yo, listen, I can represent you. I can get you out. I can get you the charges dropped. You may get like maybe a slap on the wrist, but you'd be good. All you have to do." This is after when he came in and he was like, "Yo, listen, I heard about you trying to kill my wife, and I mean, I'm just disappointed that you didn't actually get to finish the job." And I'm like, wow. I was like, damn, EJ. I mean, I'm sure when this guy loves you, he really loves you. Because when he hates you, I mean, it's just, you're just in hell at that point. This guy does not mess around. And, I mean, he'll call you literally, like if he doesn't love you anymore, he'll call you any and every dirty, disgusting, nasty name in the book, and then some, just for good measure. And so when he said that, I was like, wow. How even Xander was like, Jesus Christ, like, but He was like, yeah, I'll get you off scot-free or a slap on the wrist. Hell, you'll be able to walk out of here in 15 minutes. All you have to do is give me back the money that my ex-wife gave you. Now, he's like, I don't know, because if I do that, then I'm back to square one and I might also be back out in the streets, which in reality is really not the case. All you gotta do is practically say, I'm sorry, Victor, for whatever I'm supposed to be sorry for. And I feel like, even when he said that, I was like, bro, you do have a place to stay. I mean, granted, you're gonna have to swallow your pride and, but you have a place to stay. But he's like, I can't do it because I'll be starting from scratch. And EJ's like, alright, cool. So I'm just gonna, go back this way and continue on my fabulous life while you, you can kind of hang out with Clyde Weston and, just have a just great old time. That sounds like a lot of fun, right? So he's about to walk out, and Xander's like, alright, fine, I'll do it. Damn, I'm really gonna be without nothing. So, EJ's like, alright, you know what, listen. I even put you right back with Basic Black. Like, I'll put you right back in there. I have no problem pushing, Brady's buttons at all. So I'll do it. I really don't care. And so with that being said, he has a job. He may have to go up to millions, but he has a job so this way he can get some income in there. She's like, alright, fine, I'll do it. And I'm not gonna lie, the minute he gave him that pen, he was like, all you gotta do is sign right there. I was like, man, it's like signing a deal with the devil right there, B. But, hey, I sat there and I looked at it, I was like, bro, it's either freedom or your money. I don't think it's a really hard choice. I'm pretty sure you don't want to go to jail, so why don't you just give up the money, and this way you could not be in jail. But he chose right. So yeah. Does EJ have any other type of jobs that I don't know about? Like, is he like a surgeon or something? I mean, he literally just pulled out the I'm a lawyer card out of nowhere. Now, granted, people who have been watching the show for a while definitely know that. I did not. So when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also a lawyer. Alright, EJ, any other talents you got? You wanna share with the classroom? I don't know what they're doing by trying to, because there's one point where Trip and Allie are going to go into go and see, I guess, Chanel, or they're going to go in the restaurant where Chanel and Johnny's hanging out. But after Paulina, practically embarrassed, I guess, her daughter enough, she's like, I don't know exactly what she says, but she goes out there and she talks to them. And, after she leaves, I was like, listen, maybe she wants to kind of just be alone or her date or whatever, so let's not go in there. And I don't understand why they're doing this for. Is this supposed to be some sort of great build-up or something? Is it supposed to be some sort of, what is going on? And all that really happens with, Chanel and Johnny is that you have Paulina there kind of spilling out more beans or more business of Chanel's than Chanel was ready to sit there and tell. Like, as far as, her being, into girls, and, what else? Oh, yeah, marrying a criminal. Didn't say who, though, because I honestly tell you the truth, I think they both probably was not going to get his name right. I think somebody called him Xavier, so I'm like, okay. But yeah, she just goes there and she makes, Paulina embarrasses Chanel for a little bit, then she leaves, and at some point they kiss, and that's pretty much about it. And Trip was sitting there talking to Allie, and Trip was like, how about, we try to, because Allie was talking about her brother being back, and Tripp was like, it's a great idea. How about we hook up Chanel with your brother? And she seemed a little hesitant at first. She really did. She seemed a little hesitant at first. And then she was like, you know what, listen, my brother's kind of involved with someone anyway, so, like, I don't know about that. But after after Allie's like, listen, maybe Chanel wants her time with her man alone or whatever, let's just kind of just do our own thing. They go back, they have Whoopi, and then Tripp is like, I love you. And honestly, to tell you the truth, the look on Allie's face, I mean, man, if you could just hit a rewind button on that, like, you know what? If I knew she was going to have that sort of reaction, maybe I shouldn't have said it. Because she had that look like, oh, that's great. Like, she didn't know how to respond. And the reason why she doesn't know how to respond is because it really goes back to that bias remorse sort of thing. She chose Tripp, but she still has feelings for Chanel. And this is the reason why she probably can't say it yet. I'm guessing, I feel like I'm 95% sure that's the reason why she didn't sit there and say it back. She just had that look on her face. I think that's about it. I really do think that's about it. The Allie and Tripp stuff wasn't really super great. It wasn't terrible. It just, towards the end, that's when it got interesting. The Chanel and Johnny stuff was like, okay. I mean, Chanel's not there trying to play hard to get. And, Johnny seems like he's up for the task of trying to, woo her or whatever. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to sit there and say it. I'm not feeling the new Chanel, but the old one was really annoying. So it's one of those things where it's like, the old one had a personality that popped. It was annoying as hell, but it popped. This one seems like her personality is not exactly there. She'll say some stuff that comes across just as cringy as, the older Chanel, but it doesn't give you that same pop feeling that she had. And I was not just saying this with GH, as far as Cameron being a new actually forgot Drew, that whenever you have somebody else take over a role, they're not gonna play it in the same way. You just can't do it. They can say some of the stuff that they say, they can have a certain mood, but it won't be exactly the same. So, I'm trying to be a little more forgiving with this new Chanel, but I'm like, to be honest, I'm not really totally feeling it. I mean, her personality is it's not working for me really. It's less annoying, which is great, but it's still not working for me. And I know it sounds really bad, but she's not as pretty as the other one. And granted, that's not like a super negative or anything like that, but it's just some differences where you're just like, alright, we traded one for the other, and the other one seems like we stepped a couple of feet down a little bit. And I'm just wondering, like, we're still on course with this? This is okay, cool. Now one other thing before I go. And this is an absolute. This is something that I was actually watching on DC Sanctuary TV. No, DC Sanctuary Soap. DC Soap Sanctuary. Oh my goodness. I was watching it yesterday. He was doing a recap of the week before, I think. The week before. And one of the things he was saying was that, they was talking about rumors. And I think the guy that plays Sonny or whatever was talking about, because they're planning on doing this spin-off of Salem with some other characters and stuff. And I think he was saying, like, if this, if the spin-off goes well, they may decide to move Days to streaming. And I'm like, that is such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. And I get, it may be a matter of course and whatever, and I get that, and I'm just like, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. And I know DC was talking about how, it's about saving a little bit of money, and they can sit there and cut it off. And I'm like, well, if they just renewed it, and they decide to just, all right, we're going to just cancel it just to cancel it, like, what was the point of renewing it then? I just feel like it's a bad move. I feel like it's such a bad move. First of all, people don't like the idea that if you have to watch something else, you gotta get another streaming service. You want to watch Discovery? Oh, you gotta get another streaming service. There is a show with one of my actors that, like, he's just really great. He was on a show called The Originals. Joseph Morgan. And he plays a character called C-Jack69 or something. He's on this other show on Peacock, and I'm like, I don't want to sit there and get the streaming service just to watch that. Like, it's just like, people don't want to sit there and get another streaming service to watch something else. They just don't want to do it. One, it's just annoying. Two, it may not be in everyone's budget. You gotta sit there and remember, people, we have people that have been watching this show for such a long time. Such a long time. And they may not be too crazy about, getting another service and trying to learn all this technology and stuff like that. I've seen people that come to my job every day and will complain, oh, I'm getting a new phone and I just don't want to learn how to do it. And now I can look at it and be like, alright, that's just like being blissfully ignorant and just be like, alright, you don't want to try. But that's just how it is. Some people may not want to sit there and get a new streaming service and all this other technology and stuff like that. Like, they don't want to do it. And again, I can sit there and say that they're being blissfully ignorant because I'm younger. It's easy for me to adapt to new technology. But people that's older may not want to sit there and take that leap. They may not feel like going onto a streaming service. So it's like, it's just not good for so many reasons. It's just really not good for so many reasons. And I think the only couple of positives I can sit there and think about it is that, unlike when they decide to take off, I think the two major soap operas, All My Children Want Like to Live, when they decide to take those off, and I guess another group called Prospect Park, this was something that had nothing to do with the network exactly. This was like, I guess, like maybe an outside corporation or company or whatever. It was like, yo, listen, you can put it on us, we can sit there, we can air it or whatever. Long story short, they botched it, but they didn't have, what I'm saying, like, they didn't really have a lot to do with the network, as opposed to Peacock, which is owned by NBC. So at the very least, you could sit there and trust them to do the right thing as far as, if they had to sit there and put it on a streaming service. But 50-something years, about 60 years, I feel like at this point, what's the point of trying to put it on streaming service? But I guess you gotta sit there and look at the cost and the benefits, like, they're paying more money, is the show really doing that well? All that, like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I'm not gonna really, whatever about it, like, try to get too deep into it, but I just feel like it's a mistake. It's a mistake, and I guess in some ways I'm kind of looking at it like, you know what, I get you want to sit there and try to, like, pimp out your, your streaming service, I mean, how many times, I'm pretty sure I heard it more than once, on days. I remember Eli Smith is saying something like, oh, I'm just really tired, how about we just peacock and chill? I'm like, did he just say peacock and chill? He wants to just peacock and chill? Now granted, they threw that in there, but I'm like, they really want people to sit there and try to go to their streaming service, that way it won't, like, die. But this isn't the way to do it. To sit there and take something that a ton of people, a ton of fans that really love this show, and be like, oh, hey, we got a streaming service, and they got a fan base. How about we just take the show and put it on us, and then they'll have to sit there and come. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be that corporation. So, I hope for a lot of reasons that they don't do that, because it's just dumb. Anyway, with that being said, that's my rant for the day. And, yeah. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video.